So the first of these like-dislike videos is going to be about Frank Miller. Again, as I said before, I'm picking big-name writers, what I like and dislike about certain of their storylines, or what I like and dislike about that writer themselves. Some people may be a little offended about that, some people may like or dislike what I have to say, but just remember this, everybody has their own opinion. So again, I'm just going to go through some stories, what I like and dislike about them, and then what I like and dislike about the writer himself. First off is Batman Year One, and yes, this is partly because of the DVD that came out recently, and because Dark Knight Rises is coming up, and yes, I hate that title. But anyways, Batman Year One was my personal favorite Batman story written by Frank Miller. And what I like about it is what everyone likes about it, is that it takes Jim Gordon and fleshes him out as a three-dimensional character. Whereas before he's like, a figure of exposition, explaining the problem to Batman. Here, Batman, go solve this problem, and sending Batman his way. Here, in Year One, he's part of the story. He's essential to the story. He's a human being. Has his faults. He's cheating on his wife. Stuff like that. So, there's those elements, and this is where we introduce to a character called the Roman at this time. It's not until later that he's actually given an actual name. But, just these elements of setting up Batman and how he comes to really connect with Gordon, and how Gordon becomes to trust Batman. And so, that's what makes Batman Year One pretty much the best Frank Miller Batman story. And then there's what actually preceded Year One was Dark Knight Returns. Which is one of my favorites. I like the idea of Batman returning after, several years. He's much older, and, sort of out of touch. The Gotham has really gone downhill without him. And, but he's still getting back in the saddle. And what I especially liked is the first story, which deals with Two-Face. Two-Face is here getting both sides of his face match. And it seems like as if both sides are good, but actually Two-Face is conceiving that the two sides match, that they're both bad. And this is paralleled well with Batman's own personality, splits. That here's Batman and here's Bruce Wayne, and these two people existing in the same body, as it were, and one is taking dominance over the other, and I think that really paralleled very well. So that element I really enjoyed, and I really liked the way Joker was written. He's very deadly. He doesn't count the bodies; he lets Batman count them. There are other elements, the gay undertones, which as a gay man myself, I don't mind them, but I don't like when they're depicted in the negative way, and there's a little bit of a negativity here, but I'm not going to go into that. The main thing that I did not like about Dark Knight Returns is the way Superman is depicted, and this is really the beginning of how Superman and Batman, how they're not really friends. They're at odds with each other, and future comic books, reflect this. I really didn't like that, because to me, Batman and Superman are, underneath it all, they're friends. They may have different viewpoints, they may have different means of carrying out what they do, but underneath it all, they are friends, So I didn't like Frank Miller's take on those two, and how he depicted Superman, and I don't like having them as enemies, or potential enemies, or something along those lines. So I didn't like that part of the story, and then there's Dark Knight Strikes Back, which was horrible. The artwork was horrible. The storyline was not very good, and just altogether it wasn't very well done. So it wasn't a good story, not good art, very sloppy art, I thought, and really, I think Frank Miller should just let the story alone of what he had before, because Dark Knight Strikes Back is not really continuing on his ideas well enough. Excuse me. So that was not one of my favorites of his, and there's other things he's done, Sin City, which to some is nice. I kind of like the pulp fiction feel of it, although it has a film noir look, but I don't think Frank Miller really understands film noir very well. Film noir is very existential. Existentialism is, there is no purpose. There's no reason for everything or why everything is the way it is. The essential film noir movie Detour explains this well. Everything happens for no good reason. That's film noir. So I don't really think Frank Miller understands the film noir idea, or at least it's not presented well in Sin City. It has the look, but it doesn't have the feel. It's more of a pulp fiction type of thing rather than a full film noir type of thing. There are elements I like about it that I dislike, although I can't say again. Here we have his female heroes or heroines. I don't like to say it because people make negative comments about it. But anyways, female heroes, they're hookers. I mean, this is the same thing in Year One. Catwoman is a hooker. I mean, there's something of a bad taste in my mouth about this idea that his female heroes are, hookers, and there's just something negative I take from that. I just can't say I really enjoy that. And probably my major complaint about Frank Miller is this sort of militaristic undertone. 300 is probably the best example here. It's the characters are very neo-Nazi. I'm not saying that Frank Miller is, and I'm not saying this because of his comments about the Occupy Wall Street or anything like that. I'm saying this because of my reaction to the story and how it was presented. It's just 300 was very neo-Nazi, and it just really came off this way, that all the warriors had to be perfect and, physically strong and, stuff like that. But read the actual histories of the Spartans and stuff. Yeah, they were warriors, but like anyone who fights a war, they were reluctant to enter war. Or read about the battle that's depicted at the very end. The Spartans were given the honor of the front line, but they retreated from it. And, they were going to, because they saw they were going up against the mortals. The immortals, actually, it's not that they're considered immortal, that they live forever. It's that they're continuously, mad. One man falls and another takes his place. That type of thing. That's why they're called immortals. The Spartans see that they're up against them. They're one position. So, Xerxes has the immortals take the same position. The Spartans move, and the immortals take the same position. Eventually, some of the Spartans leave. Only one Spartan, commander and some others stay just for the sake of honor. And so, but, this is something that you wouldn't get from Frank Miller. And also, I really dislike that the Spartan king puts down the Athenians, you lovers of boys. Well, excuse me, Frank Miller, but the Spartans did the same thing. So, but you can mention that to Frank Miller, So there is that homophobia undertone, which he kind of, again, got with Dark Knight Returns, which is, again, why I kind of dislike Frank Miller's take on the somewhat gay undertones for Joker. There's this bit of homophobia there that I dislike. But anyways, that's another subject. And again, Batman All-Star, or All-Star Batman and Robin. again, we have this militaristic tone that I just don't like about Frank Miller. You know, that Robin is drafted for a war. You know, Robin joined with Batman for his own reasons. You know, and Batman was glad to have him. I'm a little reluctant at first, but, you know, he identified with Robin. He, you know, here's this kid. He's in the same position as me. I want to make things better for him. That's what really speaks to me about the Batman-Robin relationship. Not that they're military or that they're soldiers, you know, in this war. Yeah, they're fighting a war, but they have this sort of upbeat relationship. They should have a father-son relationship. Batman is about surrogate families, you know. Robin is his surrogate son. You know, this is depicted well in Turning Points, a Batman story, Turning Points, when after Jason Todd is killed, and Batman, you know, is talking about this with Gordon, and Gordon mentions that Robin is his son. Batman says, no, not really. But after Batman leaves, Gordon says, you know, the hell he wasn't. Because, yes, of course Robin is his son. And so this is just something Frank Miller doesn't seem to get. You know, he really treats Robin in a bad way, or Batman does, and Frank Miller does. I mean, I like Carrie Kelly, but what is Frank Miller really saying here by having a female Robin? Is he having a positive female character, or is he mocking the Robin character by saying he's effeminate, or, you know, he's like a woman? You know, is that really what Frank Miller is saying here? That's just the way it seems to come off to me. You know, not that he's creating a positive woman, but that he's kind of mocking how Robin is. And after all, in Dark Knight Strikes Back, Robin is the villain, which I really disliked. You know, and of course, if, you know, you accept Frank Miller's world of Batman All-Star, it's no wonder that he comes up so messed up because of how Batman treats him. And, you know, so there's that militaristic feel about Frank Miller that I really dislike, and 300 and All-Star, it really comes out. So I'm not really liking those stories. Whereas other stories of Batman Year One, Returns, I like, and there's a few other things he's done that I like, but I just, overall, I don't care for the militaristic undertones that sometimes come out. So anyways, that's my review of Frank Miller, what I like and dislike him. Not everyone will agree, but again, everyone has their own opinion. Thank you.